When I was 17 years old, I was involved in a church, and one Sunday, a beautiful girl came walking into the doors. And I remember when I laid my eyes on her, I said, she's the one I want to marry. And we began to date, and at 24 years old, we ended up getting married. We were excited for life. We were ready to take on the new challenges of marriage and have children and begin to explore our dreams. 1 year into our marriage, there were some unexpected heart problems that came up. Now, she was born with a heart condition. And I remember going to the doctor and the doctor giving us the news that she had to have another surgery. This would be the third surgery. It was devastating to us because we found out in that office that we couldn't have children, and that was our dream. We were in the hospital a few times throughout the years, and finally we were ready for the big surgery. We were praying, we were believing God that all was gonna go well. And I remember kissing her and saying goodbye during the surgery, not knowing that would be the last time I would talk to her. The surgery went wrong. Things had complications. And during this 2-week period of after the complications, she was in a coma, we began to pray and ask God to intervene. But unexpectedly, she passed away. And I remember the day that the doctor said that there was no more they could do, I remember screaming and crying out to God saying, you have to intervene. But yet in that moment, it seemed like the heavens were brass, and she passed away. I had to pick up the pieces of my life after this. This was not a chapter I wanted. This is not the story I wanted. Yet I had to keep moving forward. I remember dealing with heavy emotions. I remember thinking, God, have you left me? I've served you my whole life, but now if you're not answering my prayers, what does this mean for me? I was walking through this dark season. In this dark season, God began to give me opportunities, and this is when I went on to American Idol, was able to share my story. It wasn't an easy time in my life, but as I began to pick up the pieces and move forward, even when I didn't understand it, God met me along the way. Now I look in the hindsight. I'm several years removed from this situation. God has brought me a new bride, and I have 4 beautiful children. You know, when I look back at that season, it's something that I didn't want, but I really believe that now I'm better because I went through that than I never went through that at all. I've seen that God's grace picked me up and carried me. I've seen that God had another chapter, even when I thought that the chapter and the story of my life was through and finished. God had something more for me. What happens when you don't see the promise of the healing? What happens when you don't see the prayers answered? This is when your faith has to stay strong. I know your hope might be shaken today. You put a hope in something and it completely fell apart. But always put your hope in Jesus, because those who hope in the Lord will never be put to shame. Let your faith stay strong, because there is a day that's coming where God's going to right all the wrongs. And when you look back at your life, you're going to see the hand, you're going to see the presence, and you're going to see the anointing of the Father. And it's not only going to change your life, but your testimony will be able to change lives around you.